I don't really know how to start this video. Everyone knows Keemstar is a piece of shit. I'm just another vulture feasting on this cadaver for the time being. I don't really have enough influence as to where my voice even has an echo yet, but here I go. Apparently, Keem has made yet another enemy. Another high-profile enemy. Another high-profile enemy he's harassed vehemently. Another high-profile enemy he's harassed vehemently with false accusations. You get the fucking point. Dude's a piece of shit. He has the charm of a plastic dick with a pulse setting. That's a fair amount of charm. Habitually manipulative, chronic liar, self-centered, arguably narcissistic, marginally empathetic, abrasive, and aggressive. Devoid of any real compassion for others. Feigns love and affection for pity. Presents himself heroically. Struggles to admit fault. A bald head. All the clear-cut signs of a sociopath. Keemstar's track record is easily the most cartoonishly devious out of any non-fictional human being I've seen personally. At least on YouTube, right? His blatant disregard for his fellow man is so rampant in his public escapades, I'm 100% confident that if he could, he would absolutely murder someone and tweet about how he couldn't wait to report their death. With someone so transparent in their deviancy, you often question, how in the fuck has he lasted this long? People have been canceled for less, thrown in jail for less. There was a point in history where niggas were literally hanged for less. Yet still, here he is. I'm perfectly fine despite so many public assassinations. An immortal dookie log that no matter how many times you try to flush, that lingering odor of rotten truffle butter wafts in the air. And in your disdain, you quickly turn around only to realize we're still getting right into the fucking news. How? How is this possible? It's very simple, actually. Keemstar in all his horrid, unforgivingly detestable glory is very marketable. I mean, come on now. We love to hate that nigga, bro. Even in actions as despicable as interviewing Etika after you not only leaked the address of the mental hospital he was recovering in, but also scheduling an immediate interview mere hours after he's released to capitalize on someone who's clearly in a manic state in spite of all the red flags pertaining to his actions and the scenario in general. Keemstar still got 2 million views though, you feel me? As much as we all as a collective like to act above a scenario, how many of us would be in these scenarios if we did not have scenarios to act better than? Do you not realize the inevitable truth that controversy is hardwired into our every being? Human beings are defined by struggle, defined by conflict and controversy. I would put struggle, the very existence of problems themselves, as one of the few inevitables in reality, right next to death. If Keemstar isn't supplying it, someone else will. I would say not to recognize Keemstar as an individual, but as an inevitable, oftentimes necessary evil to remind us that despite our own imperfections, we can clearly be fucking worse. But there's a reason Keem is so marketable. I already said it, so allow me to recontextualize it. We watch Keem. No matter how desperately we try to convey moral superiority, he has 5.56 million subscribers for a reason. That reason is that despite the fact that we all claim a high sense of moral fiber, morality is honestly a matter of perspective. The reason I exacerbated the ire surrounding Keemstar is because as much as we hate him as a collective, as deplorable as Keemstar's actions have been in the past, definitely, if we divorce our emotions from the situation and look at this from a purely logical and truly unbiased standing, I would go as far as to say that in this instance brought by Ethan, Keemstar is innocent. Is he innocent of all his doings? No. Fuck no. He accused Tony of being a pedophile and bared hostility when Tony had the gall to say your pedophilic accusations have caused me pain and suffering. He has ruined the careers of people like Tobuscus off complete lies. He has defended actual rapists. He has defended actual pedophiles. And he has condemned people off false information when the entire purpose of a news source is unbiased, factual info. However, when it comes to situations like FouseyTube, like Etika, we honestly are all hypocrites. Let's take a look back at 2018-2019 CJ. Some would say I was radical, cold, polarizing. I would go as far as to say I was a bona fide faggot. In that time, I made a lot of antagonizing and very polarizing videos. One in particular was about someone named Boy Jello. If Boy Jello was quoted saying that the actions persisting from my video was the direct causation of his suicide, should I feel empathy? A situation he started all the way back when we met in-game, cultivated outside the game by antagonizing me on YouTube, making a trailer to his video, uploading a video slandering my credibility as a player. That surely gives me justification to make a video on him, correct? His video only pulled 3 to 4K views. Views that, judging by the like to dislike ratio, were majorly people who supported me. Yet still, I responded. The things I said in the video responding to him are far more aggressive than anything Keemstar has ever said to Etika, to Fousey. If Boy Jello declared that my actions in that video were the direct causation of his suicide, should I feel empathy? Honestly, I wouldn't. That sounds callous, but it's the truth. What should constitute the feeling of empathy for another human being? Should we feel personally responsible for someone else's personal decisions between our own influence weighed against their lack of willpower? In the instance of Keemstar that supposedly had a massive impact on Etika, was there some form of correlation? Should we look at Keemstar in a different light because there was one known series of events that transpired after his input was placed in a situation that otherwise might have died down? Would we be putting him in a different perspective had Etika not given in to the desires and in his own suffering, and bygones been laid to solely being bygones? That's just it. Perspective. Morality is based in a subjective way that comes down to the most basic of basics. Imagine a room with one half painted black and the other side painted white. You yourself stare at a pure white wall, back to back with another individual standing in the same room, in the same location, and see two completely different things. Morality differentiates from person to person based on perspective. And calling Keemstar a piece of shit for this while praising him for saying bad things about people you disagree with is how your perspective shifts. He looks into stories, he says things that others would consider outrageous, and people watch it. Keemstar didn't hold a knife to Etika's throat. He didn't push him over the edge. He did the same thing he's been doing for years, and it should be looked at as such. If Leafy or any of the people iDubbbz made a video on decided to kill themselves because of iDubbbz' content cop, should we feel empathy? If any of the people I made a tawassel on declared that that was the final straw, should we banish me when my intention was entertainment? We are not above these situations. No matter how desperately we try to feign moral superiority, morality, reality can be summarized as perspective and stimulus. I am not saying that we should abandon our sense of empathy for our fellow man, but I am saying not to cast stones in glass houses. There is a time and a place to be outraged, and us trying to pretend we don't spectate when Keemstar does videos like the FouseyTube documentary and the Etika interview, we cannot act like we do not provocate that as entertainment. We all do. I'm just saying. That being said, Ethan.
The nuke has made full impact.
What the fuck are you doing, good buddy?
Never mind the fact that this entire back and forth is a result of a petty and utterly meaningless debacle. But Ethan, why would you weaponize your subscribers to directly purge your sponsorships? Ethan, no. We can try to pretend all we want that Ethan did what he did because he felt Keemstar was a poor representative of G Fuel, when his real focus was neglecting Keemstar of that revenue stream. What kills me is your decision, considering all of your colleagues, all of your known associates, and everyone who relies on monetization from residual income. Why would you decide to potentially belly up the YouTube platform entirely, enabling a new form of revenge tactic over petty grievances with a known shithead? We get it, bro. Keemstar bad. He is a despicable cunt who honestly is the 8th fucking wonder as to how he manages to remain monetized. But the utter self-righteousness and entitlement to think you have any right to decide that you dictate the narrative of someone's revenue streams? And trust me, I get it. Keem is a fucking scumbag, a dipshit, a piece of dog shit. We all agree on that, and we feel he deserves punishment for his actions. Hear me out though. Please refer to the statement above. Morality is subjective, pertaining to perspective. The majority finds Keemstar controversial. It's no surprise to any of us that he's lost sponsorships. He deserves it, according to the majority. Well, apparently, Old Spice feel you deserve it too, Ethan. Wait a minute. Old Spice dropped Ethan because Keem's fans complained to Old Spice. I don't get it. Keemstar is controversial, so G Fuel kicked him, but Old Spice kicked Ethan because they deemed him controversial as well. That means, oh shit, we set a precedence of allowing sponsors to terminate sponsorships based on subjective opinions and not objective reasoning. That means that Ethan going after Keemstar has set the stage for anyone who anyone finds disagreeable to be liable to face consequences, warranted or unwarranted, because the opposing party deemed them deserving of it. Oh shit, you mean to tell me in the process of burning Keem, there will be several more casualties of YouTubers people disagree with facing severe repercussions they will arguably not deserve because Ethan wanted to punish Keem for hurting his pride? Well yeah, but fuck that nigga Keem, right? Good shit. Ethan, when Keemstar went after Sword Gaming, it was 2015. The commentary community didn't even exist yet. I'm not justifying his actions, but you're using a 5-year gap to justify your actions in a much more volatile and unstable YouTube landscape. And it's crazy how you say your revenue is stable, then turn around and immediately lose sponsorships. I think you thought this wouldn't affect you. No, you have single-handedly ushered in a potential cataclysm. Also, you can tell a gnome, fuck you. Horrible job, Ethan. God-awful moves. Do not keep that shit up, nigga. I pray to God this trend starts and dies with this bullshit beef. If it doesn't, God help us all. You can help me by donating to the links in the description though. Patreon.com/ArchWizardCJ and my PayPal. Help me out, please. Please help me out. I am broke. I don't even care about these niggas. I just need money. Please help me. I want to do what I love. Please donate. Just please help a nigga out. Please. It makes me sad because everyone talks about how Ethan's changed for the worse. And I wanted to hold out hope that this was an untrue statement. I never watched this podcast and I hoped it would not be the staging ground for his descent into a shallow and more vain/pompous version of himself. This is the man who was the champion of fair usage, with us cheering him on doing incredible lows like the Matt Hoss lawsuit, only to find out that unfortunately he has indeed become disconnected with his very own audience. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. You really fucking do. So I made the script before Keemstar uploaded his response video, and after watching it, I came to realize that yeah, he's actually kind of right. I kind of forgot that Ethan made 4 videos calling Patrice Wilson a pedophile, which led him to have a manic episode and upload a hoax live stream that insinuated intent towards Ethan. I tried to emphasize that the only real difference between Ethan and Keem was that, but no, not even that. They're both the same person at this point. You hate to see it. People suck. Going after Patrice because your favorite YouTuber roasted him makes you a bona fide bitch. But recognize how differently we see Keemstar's pedophilic accusations and Ethan's. That's because there's a culture around hating Keemstar. Only recently have we begun to interpret Ethan's actions in a different light. Before that, in light of entertainment, we chose to exonerate Ethan because we favored him. Again, morality is subjective. You aren't as good as you think. So, in conclusion, what have we learned? These niggas suck. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.